It was weeks after my dad's sudden stroke and passing that I gave up the fight that had loomed over me most of my life, the one taunting me to keep going, keep trying, keep giving, keep smiling, keep controlling. And for the first time, I sort of just released all of my control, and I remember just saying to God, I need there to be something more. I want to see more of how you're colliding with real life. I think it was one of those moments where I asked myself, like, is there more to life? Is there more to faith? How is God real in the midst of everyday circumstances? And I think that I thought that faith was like those grand moments, like those epic occasions. I had this like childhood image of faith being where I was running through the daisies with God, wearing an eyelet dress. Bless. I just can't wear eyelet dresses these days. And so I remember saying, God, how do I see you real in the midst of these ordinary, simple moments? What does faith look like for people like me who have, kids that whine and a marriage that demands work? God, how are you genuine in the middle of bills and parents that have cancer? And I just remember wanting to know like that kind of faith. And I can't help but wonder if you have experienced the same, or if you've asked the same questions. God, how are you meeting me right where I'm at, just as I am? And so I think I mistook intimacy with God as my responsibility, that it was my job to do the inviting and the hosting, and I sort of set up faith like this party that I was in charge of planning. So I set the table and I was in charge of cooking, and there's tons of chairs because there's going to be tons of people, and then when real life happens and frantic schedules take over and there's that awkward relationship, God, how do we respond and still see you in the middle of all of this? I remember weeks after my dad died, sitting outside on my weathered patio bench, and I just, for the first time, I just released all of my need to control and kind of put together life the way I wanted it planned. And I remember telling God, I don't have anything to give anybody, especially you. And so my heart for choosing real really is sort of this conversation with you. I wish I could just like invite you over and sit you on my couch and we could just talk about how is faith connect with real life. And so I invite you to join me as we choose real together, as we opt to see how Jesus' heart is genuine in the middle of everyday circumstances. And together we celebrate how God's manifestations will always exceed our expectations.